following is a UTV 44 sports production.
Tonight, it's a rematch from Week 5, Saraland and Spanish Fort. The Toros, winners of 2 straight state championships, won that game by a score of 8-13. Whoever wins tonight will head up to Jordan-Hare for a chance at the 6A championship next weekend.
Friday Night Rivals. The UTV 44 High School Football Game of the Week.
We are on the hill here in Spanish Fort. Just 4 teams left in 6A. And tonight, Saraland and Spanish Fort with a big rematch of last year's semifinal game that the Toros won in a rematch of a game earlier this season you saw here on UTV 44. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox. My partners, Dan Brennan and Vic Lockett. And Dan, you look at the atmosphere here tonight. I mean, this feels like a matchup of 2 teams that are playing for the 3rd time in 12 months.
It does. It is. And it feels that way because Saraland showed up early. Their fan base came early to make sure they got in. Well,
their
they're
entire fan base.
They're here, and they're on their side of the field. They're on this side of the field. They want to make sure that their team knows clearly that they are right side by side with the Spartans tonight.
This is certainly a different Spanish Fort team than we saw when this matchup took place earlier in the year. That's when Tyler Johnston got hurt. But if the Toros are going to win tonight, they've got to get at least a few big plays from one of their injured running backs.
Yeah, Trey, this is definitely going to be a between-the-tackle sort of night, and Trey Schabel is that guy. Now, he's a little banged up, but he's a senior. They're going to let him go. He's got a bad ankle. How bad? We'll find out. He's one tough hombre. He's got to make some runs, get some chunk yards, take the pressure off Javon Brown a little bit. Brown's got some playmakers around him, but he needs these big runs like the one that helped seal the deal against Saraland in Week 5 of the season.
Both these teams have great defenses. Vic Lockett, I know you love that. Saraland comes in there giving up 13 a game. Skylar Mosley, one of their great linebackers, but he's got somebody that lines up right next to him that's also real good.
That's right. His cohort, Tyler Sims. He's a great football player, runs to the football, finds the football is what I like. He gets off blocks really well. And you talk about running, he returns punts for them as well. In their game against Opelika, he played running back, had 152 yards. His longest was 85 yards and a TD. So look for him to be a factor in this football game. He and Trey Schabel, I think, are going to meet a couple of times.
It's going to be a great matchup here tonight. Again, the winner goes up to Auburn next week to play for the state championship. I think this is a game Saraland has kind of had circled. They wanted this rematch. They've got it here tonight on the hill. Kickoff comes up next between Saraland and Spanish Fort here on UTV 44. Opening kick underway here, and Christian Cotton takes it, and he's at the 32-yard line. And this game underway, Saraland and Spanish Fort. What an atmosphere, Ashley.
Hey guys, it's Thanksgiving break, but tonight this is where the get-together is. Fans are packed on the fences. We have extra stands that have been brought in. So it is a packed house here tonight, and this is the rematch, but only one of these teams will be at state next week.
Both teams 12-1 coming into this game. Spanish Fort 13-0 all-time here at home in the playoffs. And look at that, Mark Freeman 50-6, 89% on the win total. Marion in motion. Javon Brown going to be dropped. Got maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and Skylar Mosley in there. Spanish Fort offense, Johnson, Betts, Howard, Brentsel, and DeLong up front for the Toros. We'll have to see how much we see Schabel come in tonight. Petway also might be a little dinged up in that game at the end during a kickoff last week. We'll see how he plays. They need him tonight. And this is Cam Harrison. No, it was not. It was Javon Brown keeping it, and Brown got to the 36-yard line before he was wrapped up by Johnny Sklopan. Anderson and Rowland on the outside, Hoban in the middle. The linebackers, Osborne and Reed, Mosley and Sims. We talked about him to open the broadcast. Henderson has got 3 interceptions. Flott, Sklopan made the tackle, and Justin Dunham also with 3 picks. And 3rd and 8 coming here for the Toros. Harrison in the backfield. There's Javon Brown. Had a big game last week to lead him to a victory on the road. Brown on the keeper, cuts it back to the inside, and he's going to be close to the first down yardage. Saw the pressure coming in there, and this could lead to a decision here early. I know he's got the first down. Ooh, you can feel the atmosphere of the go already in this one.
Well, you know, when you push to have a fight, you have to have a push back. So the fans are pushing back tonight.
3rd and 8, big conversion there for Spanish Fort. Harrison dropped, big hit as he tried to get through Bryce Hoven, the junior. 5'9", 225 with a big lick on that one.
Yeah, they had to run blitz on, so it paid off right there. They guessed correctly defensively.
To do that on the streets, you get arrested. I think we're going to see a lot of hits like that tonight.
Pickup of 1. Brown pulls it down himself, and Noah Anderson there to get him, and another 3rd down coming up. Last week, Javon Brown, 18 of 21, threw it for 181 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception, and rushed it for 88 yards. But most importantly, in the last 3 minutes and 26 seconds, went 68 yards in 9 plays to lead for the game-winning field goal kicked by Matthew Quinn. 3rd and 7 here for the Toros. They have kept it on the ground throughout the entire first series, and now Brown looks to throw. Drops back, feels pressure, now steps up in the pocket, still looking, sings it to the near side, and it's incomplete. Threw it past Logan Morgan, who didn't really realize he had a receiver and Christian Cotton behind him either. But good coverage downfield by the Spartans.
Good job by Brown negotiating the pocket, not taking a sack in that situation. Threw it out to his receiver, but he wasn't able to get the reception.
Tyler Sims goes back. Barry Wakaneateu.
Not too often you see a middle linebacker drop back to return a punt.
And they kick it away from him toward the near sideline. And it rolls inside the 20. And the Spartans with a defensive stand to open it up. 4 teams left and 6 of the 7 classifications. We already know who's playing in the 7A finals. Hoover and Prattville. Prattville a hot team right now. No surprise, Hoover's there. Our game tonight in Florence. Clay Chalkville, that'll be the winner of that game, plays the winner of this one. 5A, Jackson and St. Paul's in a rematch of a UTV 44 game earlier this year. Madison County and Pleasant Grove. Big one on Old Shell Road tonight. Leeds and UMS Wright. I think the winner of that game, you gotta like that to be the favorite to beat either Deschler or Cordova. There's Jeff Kelly, head coach of the Saraland Spartans.
When he created this thing, you know, I mean, from the ground up, and what a program it has become real quick.
Came there 2nd year they were playing football. Weaver looking to throw, dumps it out of the backfield. And Nick Williams just gets a couple. Saraland offense, Trahan, Hasselberger, Smith, Morgan, and Dixon up front. Bellis Jones, he's got 880 receiving yards this year. Long and Williams will both play at running back. Weaver, the quarterback, Gatewood, the blocking back. Robinson, the tight end, and Brumbelow, the other receiver.
Remember, Jones had that big reception to get them back in the game September 19th.
And we'll see Tyler Sims on offense some tonight, as Vic alluded to. Williams in motion. Weaver on the right side, and Weaver to the 26-yard line, and 3rd and short. Coming up for the Spartans, Spanish Fort's defense allowing 11.8 points per game. White, Cole, and Stockton up front. Johnston, Campbell, Threet, and D. Thomas, the great linebackers here at Spanish Fort. In the secondary, Morgan Baker, Jake Goodwin, Tony Mitchell, and Stephen Holcomb.
You know, in stature and in body of work, Weaver is so much like Tyler Johnston, the quarterback that's missing for Spanish Fort.
He's thrown for almost 1,700 yards and wants to run for more. There's a flag. Looks like that's going to be a hold, and they drop him back at the 22-yard line. Let's look at the call here.
And it looks like it is a hold.
You see that flag in the middle of the field. That's usually what it is. So let's see if the Toros take the penalty or if they decline it and force Saraland to punt. Mark Kelly, our referee, did the game last week here on UTV 44. Does a good job of explaining things.
I think because of the loss on the play, might have been the key factor in saying, you know what, we'll go ahead and Make him punt it right here.
Yep. Zach Everett on to punt. Ladero Petway stands back at the 40.
How about your quarterback, the personal protector on the punt team?
Good kick by Everett. And Petway's going to get away from it. And it's at the 33-yard line, so each team's defense flexes their muscle. We're early, and this one's scoreless in the semis between Saraland and Spanish Fort. Back here in Spanish Fort, 8 minutes to go, opening quarter. Both teams with an offensive series resulting in a punt. And the Toros have it for the second time at the 33. Brown tries to get ahead, still on his feet as we drop the ball, tipped up in the air. Wow. Javon Brown kept extending that play over and over. And Johnny Sklopan, the strong safety in there, almost had that one fall into his hands.
I like Johnny Sklopan because he plays like a football player, but his name sounds like a football player. Johnny Sklopan, big play from safety coming up, and these guys, you'll see Sklopan, even though he's a safety, up near the line of scrimmage a lot tonight.
Loses an incomplete. 2nd and 10. Wakatu and AU into block. In front of Brown as Javon Brown rolls to the near side, fires, able to get that one complete. Logan Baker with a reception across midfield and a first down for the Toros.
That's been the big improvement of Javon Brown. Vic, I know you loved him from the start for his composure and not hurting his team, but now he's helping his team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you can see right off the bat, they are trying to get him out on the edge, away from all of that activity in the middle, so that he can see downfield and go ahead and have some confidence to deliver it.
And you need some quick throws against this defense, too, because they are crossing the line of scrimmage in a hurry.
At the 48, Marion comes in motion. They give it off. Harrison falls forward back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. It's going to be tough sledding between the tackles.
Yeah, that's why you need a healthy Shable. They don't have a healthy Trey Shable. Harrison, I like to call Shable light. He fights and battles a lot like Trey Shable, but he's about 30 pounds less.
Picks up 1 on first down for the Toros. They give it off to Harrison again. Harrison trying to force it ahead. Does a good job. Gets to the 42-yard line. 3rd down coming up.
Good leg drive here to just keep the ball going forward. Not stopping on first contact. Always making him just really annihilate his legs before he goes down.
Got to be careful about extending that ball in a play where the extension of the ball doesn't mean much. These kids do that way too often.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 4 for the Toros. Play clock under 5. Brown looks to throw now, rolls out to the right. He's got some green in front of him. Now there's a flag on the play, and he goes up the near sidelines.
Javon just being very, very careful with the football.
So a holding call on 3rd down, much like Saraland had on their previous drive.
Well, once you're on the edge, like Harrison DeLong was right there, you've got to be really careful you don't hook anybody, and I think that's exactly what they called him for. The right tackle was just in clear sight. Not that something like this doesn't happen very often, but he just got caught.
Offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
It looked like Javon Brown could have pulled that one down and taken off for the first down.
Yeah, he wants to go downfield with the football, but if it's not wide open and it's there, looks like to me he's just going to be careful. And that's good coaching. You know, hey, it's big-time game. You're close to getting there. Be careful with the football. He's got enough teammates around him. He knows if he just doesn't make a mistake, they'll be in the football game, usually coming out on top.
3rd and 20. Brown on the left side. Gets back to midfield.
That's a quarterback counter play right there where they run some lead blockers. Looks like Brown's going to sprint opposite and instead just pivots and tries to get what he can. And now a chance for Saraland to get the ball back, but we'll see where they get it.
Yeah, that screws up those middle linebackers and their reads when he pivots around like that. So great planning for the football game.
This
by Coach Freeman.
The Saraland defense gave up 28 points only 2 times all year. Opening week against Daphne and their loss against Spanish Fort. Kick to the near side. There's going to be a flag. I think we're going to have roughing the kicker. Wakatu and AU got run into. Marcus Reed was there.
So do they have the option of run into and blocking?
Yeah, this is just actually going to be a 5-yard penalty.
Okay. That was the discussion right there. And now you want to know, with that in mind, do you want to take
running
the
into
penalty?
the kicker, receiving team, that 5-yard penalty will be declined. 1st and 10 1.
Watch the replay here.
And that was a classic case of just his momentum going into the kicker, I think.
Kicker's in a vulnerable spot.
Always. Some are more belligerent than others, but Coach Freeman said no harm, no foul. Let's just play football.
Look at the size of this guy, quarterback, Jim. I mean, this is this Weaver kid, and he's got as much fight as he does strength.
Yeah, I was going to mention that a little earlier. You compared him to Tyler Johnston. I think he's a little bit thicker and taller, isn't he, than Tyler?
They're pretty similar in about everything they look like, and one's got red hair. Otherwise, you tell me.
I thought Tyler was about 5'10".
He's 6'2". He's big.
Okay.
Up to the near side. Going to be a first down, because that's Ellis Jones with his 36th catch of the season. There you look at Saraland, the only blemish on the schedule right here on UTV 44 back on September 19th, 28-13. But so impressive, those 2 road wins. So far, everybody has said in 6A, the game of the year was the Opelika win, or the win at Opelika by Saraland, and now playing on the road again 3 straight weeks.
Oh, no, the Opelika win, they had to stop Opelika on the 1-yard line on 4th down to preserve that victory.
Sean Long gets a couple on first down. Saraland comes in averaging almost 38 points a game. And how about this? They ended the regular season by scoring more than 40 points in each of their last 6 regular season games, including that 50-burger they hung on Blunt that no one saw coming.
Nobody saw that coming because Blunt was playing so well.
Yep.
But this is going to be one of those games. Slug, slug, slug. But there are going to be a few big plays in this game. They're going to turn it on its axis completely.
2nd and 8. The pitch to Long, and he's hit in the backfield and dropped. Loss of 1 on the play as Trey Threet came in to make the stop for the Toros.
Good linebacking play by Spanish Fort. Always, it seems like it's good linebacking play by Spanish Fort. He's even getting held on the play. Doesn't stop him at all.
Yeah, Robeson had a handful of jersey, but Threet broke through it, and he lost 1, so now it's 3rd and 9. And Mark Freeman talking to his offensive crew over there on the sideline. Sean DeFore, defensive coordinator for the Toros. He's done such a great job. They're giving up 17 a game in the playoffs, up a little bit from the 12 they gave up during the regular season. 3rd and 9. Looking, Weaver hives it up to the near side, hangs up in the air and picked off all the way back at the 30-yard line. Stephen Holcomb with the interception for the Toros. And Spanish Fort gets it back on the equivalent of what would have been a good punt.
Yep, exactly.
Well, you saw Chris Weaver looking out there to him, signaling that he was going to come to him. Velez Jones for the Saraland Spartans just didn't run the route, looks like, that Weaver communicated to him. Defensive back had an easy pick, just locate the football and run under it.
First turnover of the night, and Spanish Fort's offense comes back out here. We talked about a little bit how similar these 2 teams are with their 12-1 record, 7-1 in the region.
Similar in another way, Jim, I'll get into when we've got a chance. Maybe that chance is right now. Spanish Fort, as they built everything, Jim, they've known for playing kind of with an edge.
Right.
And as this Saraland team and program has been put together brick by brick, you can see that same sort of attitude with the Spartans. They're going to pick up that flag, by the way.
So far in the playoffs, Spanish Fort has outscored their opponents 98-52. Saraland has outscored their opponents 99-51. I mean, just dead even. The records, everything about these teams very, very similar.
Yeah, it looks like fire meets ice.
This is it.
Harrison in the backfield. Inside 4 minutes to go, and now flag before the snap.
Yeah, probably caused them to jump offside. The defensive line was shifting, trying to confuse the blocking schemes up front.
Before the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards, remains first down.
Rick, I see that Saraland does that more than Spanish Fort. Exactly what is the defense trying to communicate to those at home? Exactly what the defense is trying to accomplish?
When they shift like that at the last minute, it changes what the offensive lineman's blocking is going to be like. So they don't know which man to block, hopefully, once they do that last-minute shift. So that's what they're trying to accomplish with it. And, you know, just to get icing on the cake, they got a cheap 5 yards out of it by making them jump offside.
1st and 15, Brown rolls out. Now looking for the go pattern for Cotton, and he can't hold on to it at the 40.
Sklopan from center field helps save the play right there for Saraland.
Yeah,
like
he
I
timed
said,
it just right, didn't he?
Yeah, there's going to be some big plays that's going to jimmy this thing open one way or the other. This could have been one of those plays. Actually, looks like that ball was coming loose before the safety got there.
Sklopan with 4 interceptions this year and a fumble recovery, so a safety that has a nose for the football.
Right.
Brings up 2nd and 15. That's one of those 4 or 5 big plays in a game. Cotton holds on to that one. They set up the screen. Harrison with a lot of room in front of him and lost his footing.
He just got a little too anxious, and I mean, those legs were going a little bit faster than his brain was anticipating. He just ran his legs from up under him.
That was going to be a big game.
There you go. There's 2 plays in a row that Spanish Fort could have made some big hay, and they come up empty. And in a game like tonight,
if you take a look at it, I mean, you probably could even see his eyes get big from this camera here, but a ref gets in the way. But, yeah, that was going to be a big game.
3rd and 10. Brown looking, pressure coming, steps up in the pocket. Now he'll try to run for it. Trying to get to the far boundary, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 36-yard line, short of the 1st down.
Boy, they're so aware. That defense is so aware. Their eyes are where they need to be.
Sure, yeah, they got down off their coverage when they saw him once breaking the line of scrimmage. I thought he should have cut it up there and just tried to get north and south, but otherwise he was just getting so wide there that certainly he's going to run out of real estate.
Wakatuaneu on to punt again. Will be the 3rd punt for the Toros here in the 1st quarter.
Kicking it right in the direction of a pretty dangerous guy in Sims.
Tyler Sims returning punch, playing linebacker as well. Inside backer. Proud of him.
Punt. Sims will take it at the 31. It'll be dropped right there.
Looks like it was a face match, but it must not have been. He's not complaining.
Take a timeout. This one living up to the hype. Scoreless. 3 minutes to go in the 1st. Last game of the year here in Spanish Fort. Winner tonight goes to Jordan-Hare to play for the state championship next week. Weaver fires this one. Dallas Jones has got it. Jones will have the 1st down to the 45.
And he just runs a simple little out, and he delivers the football to him. I'm sorry, a little stop. Saraland out.
Saraland, it's their 3rd playoff appearance, 6-3 all-time in the playoffs. Weaver gives this one off to Nick Williams, trying to turn the corner. Williams going to be dropped back there. The big hit. Morgan Baker, the corner, came up and delivered the lick.
Heads up to James Smith, the starting center. Little Gimpy's already got a brace, and Vic alluded to how important the center is too, and trying to make sure that everybody's set on the offensive line on who to block who. That would be a loss, but he's back up and over the football.
2nd and 6 coming up for Saraland as we approach 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Weaver, nice move in the backfield, gets to midfield and then driven back. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, Thomas Johnson had him dead to rights in the backfield there, coming in on that stunt. But Weaver just makes a miss, just curves around him.
Weaver has run for over 600 yards this year. I mentioned pass for almost 1,700. Protects the ball. 20 touchdowns through the year and 5 interceptions, and he's rushed for 13 and 3rd and 4. Coming up here is Thomas Johnston, the sophomore.
They got an offer from Clemson as a sophomore.
Weaver Now they direct snap it in the backfield, able to get it off complete to Long, who's gotten the first down.
How about the razzle-dazzle there? If you saw the quarterback, he's walking to the sideline of Spanish Fort, trying to distract his attention. They're there, but they're going to snap the football, and you think it's a busted play, but no, the back is right there to get the Wildcat and turn it upfield for a first down.
Big-time play right there, and caught the Fort napping a little bit.
Sean Long has rushed for over 1,200 yards now this season. Was held to 74 yards on 15 carries in the September matchup between these two, and he'll take it again, and Tyler Johnston brings him down at the 31. This is the deepest penetration we've seen from either team offensively.
You can imagine these coaches are going to pull out all the stops because, as I always say when we get to the playoffs, there is no tomorrow. The team that loses, put the pads up. I mean, these guys are right here on the cusp of playing in the championship game, so they're certainly everything is on the line.
Spanish Fort, of course, winners of 2 straight 5A titles. They're in 6A this year. Weaver looking to throw up in the air, tipped and incomplete. Hanging over there was Jake Goodwin.
Goodwin right where he needs to be as safety, Vic.
Yeah, he was trying to fit it in between them there, the safety in the corner. But good coverage in that cover, too. That's how it's supposed to be ran, just like that.
Bellis Jones, you mentioned 35 receptions, 880 yards, had 3 for 61 in that Week 5 matchup, and 3rd and 8 coming up.
Standing room only in the house.
I mean,
all the way around the end zone. Standing room on the sideline only.
Timeout taken.
Electric atmosphere, and you can tell this is the game.
I mean, it is. We thought we saw a big crowd. This is the biggest crowd we've seen here. And we thought we saw some really big ones, but they've had to bring in more bleachers, and they're wrapped all the way around the end zone.
I mean, so many people here, the principal had to bring the football here in a helicopter.
Couldn't get in any other way.
Yeah.
Now, and if any of us would have known there was, a helicopter coming, you maybe wouldn't have had to fight that mobile traffic to get over here, right?
Well, I think we all, big games like this, like I said, I get here so early, I could take a Spanish test.
Hey, don't forget you can follow us all off season on Facebook. Search UTV44 High School Football Game of the Week. And if you're flipping back between this one and the Iron Bowl right now, you're saying, why are they showing it? Well, we can't show them live because it's a silly rule by the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So we have to tape delay the games, and it's really a shame for high school football fans.
Your loss.
3rd and 8. Chris Weaver, motion down to his receivers.
7 seconds on the play clock.
Weaver gets the snap. He's going to keep it to the right side. Tries to bounce it out. 3 is there to stop him. And then a host of Toros led by Tony Mitchell after the initial pressure from Trey 3.
I have a feeling, Vic, that's a play that works against a lot of teams on their schedule. It does not work against, everybody. Power blocking, but look at 3.
Yeah, he should have followed his first notion, which was cut it on up the field and go inside, because when he tries to get that edge against Spanish Fort, there's going to be a host, just like you said, there waiting for him.
And Treat did a great job of getting off the block.
That'll wrap up the quarter, and now from the 30-yard line, you'll see what does Jeff Kelly want to do here on 4th down and 7. We'll take a timeout, come back to start quarter number 2. It feels like a semifinal game here tonight with Spanish Fort. That's how the game ball arrived here tonight, moments before kickoff.
Beautiful, beautiful shot, isn't it?
Principal from Spanish Fort was in charge of holding the football the whole flight over. Brought it in, landed right on the logo, and that's how the ball got here to start the game. And Dan and I both saying, what if there's a mechanical issue and the plane can't take back off?
Yeah, get chopper right there.
Well, there's a big wrecker over there. I'm sure
you know what?
It could lift that chopper.
That's probably why they had it here. So here we go. 4th and 7, and the Spartans will go for it. Weaver dropping back, looking to pass far side, and it's picked off at the 10. Tony Mitchell.
Better suited to knock it down.
Yep.
But, instincts are what they are. He makes the interception, and Spanish Fort gets the ball back. He knocks it down. They got better field position, obviously, back at it the 30.
Great, strong throw there, but just to the wrong guy.
Second interception tonight for the Toros. Neither one is both were, first one was a 3rd down and long. This was a 4th down, so.
Coach Kelly will take the shot. We're learning that.
Toros from their own 10. You see Trey Shable, I believe, checking in to get his first carry here tonight. And gets a couple. Take a look at the Toros. Of course, had that 31-game winning streak. It was finally snapped here on UTV 44 right here when they lost to Daphne. But other than that, they have been dominant. If you look at the playoffs, 41-7, the win over Benjamin Russell, and the McAdory win on the road last week when they kicked a field goal with their 8th grader as Shable up to about the 16.
You know, that's a tough play for Shable right there. Jim, don't you agree?
Yeah,
the cutback's not, you know, if you, between the tackles, almost the one gap, maybe he can help you out. But boy, asking him to cut right now, Vic, it looks painful.
Yeah, he's just not at full strength, but that's his game. You know, he knows he's not going to get much going around the edge. He likes to go north and south, and that's how he makes his bread and butter and help this Spanish 14 be successful.
Yeah, he did not even play last week in the win on the road. 3rd and 4. Brown gives it to Shable. He's hit in the backfield. And nothing. That was good penetration. I don't think that had much to do with a bad ankle. That was a great defensive play.
Yeah, Ty rolling all in the backfield. Yep. Read it right there. He just gets back there before he almost gets to ball in his hands, and that just disrupts the play completely.
Well, so now Saraland with a chance to flip the field here and get some great field position.
You know, the way they had that thing spread out, too, that was something that Shable could have picked up. If Roland doesn't get off that block like that, they had a chance to get that yardage. But instead, here they go.
Wakatu Aneyu with pressure. Sims will take it at the 48 up the middle. He's got some room. Tyler Sims to the 35-yard line. Great field position for the Spartans to start this drive. And while we get ready to see the Saraland offense come out, let's hear from Dan Brennan.
Hey, the best playing the best. Some of the top high school football players in Alabama and Mississippi are headed to Montgomery December 13th, the 28th Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Football Game at historic Crampton Bowl. 2 40-member squads of high school seniors have matched their talents at 12 noon. Tickets are now available online and will be available at the stadium on the game day for $10 each. The event is hosted by the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association. Don't miss it. December 13th, a public service message from the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Dan Brennan reads a PSA. I get to have a shrimp from the Toro Grill. The timing was great.
Lovely.
On 1st down.
Everybody wins.
Now we see Sims in the backfield, his first carry tonight to the 29.
Yeah, when your middle linebacker gets to tote the ball a couple of times, you notice the difference.
Oh, yeah, I love it. That young man there, double duty, offensively, defensively,
triple duty.
And special teams. Yep. Yeah, triple duty.
What
an athlete.
Picks up 5.
Jeff Kelly's developed a very tough-minded football team in Saraland, Alabama. Make no mistake about that. They don't lose because they're scared. Sometimes they don't have more points than the other guy. That's all.
High formation. They pitch it to Sims on the right side, and he's stopped there. Good job by Maurice Cole to get in and grab a hold of him and bring him down there. J.D. Campbell also in.
Boy, we've watched Maurice Cole over the years, right? What a player.
Yep.
Campbell also at linebacker.
3rd and 3. Coming up, there's Cole, 6'2", 228.
Good-looking kid there.
Yeah, man. Good size for an edge guy in high school, for sure.
No doubt about it.
But they're coached so well. They've got these motors that just keep on going, both these teams.
Chris Weaver, the Louisiana Lafayette commit, is going to take a timeout here as the play clock was about to expire. It's a good timeout, as opposed to taking the 5-yard penalty there.
Yeah, great recognition by your senior quarterback to look up and see it as well.
You know, there's a play at the end of the last game we did between these two teams on the 19th of September when, after getting within a score, Saraland attempted an onside kick. Referee saying the ball had never been blown in. Jeff Kelly said, we heard a whistle. Evidently it wasn't. Yeah, they recovered it.
Yep.
And instead of getting the football, they ended up with a penalty against them, and everything went haywire from there. But that's how close this game was.
I want to thank the Drug Education Council and Mobile and Baldwin County Sheriff's Department for being a part of our high school football coverage all season long. Our last game here tonight. And I want to remind you, go to spicekills.com, the website, and find out what you can do as parents, family members, friends about the terrible drug Spice. Check it out, spicekills.com. And third and a long 3. Double tight ends. Fire on the far side. Bellis Jones just fell down, went to make his cut, was going to be the first down, and his feet went out underneath him.
Yeah, good crisp pass by Chris Weaver to get it out there, but receiver lost his footing, and the ball just sailed right over his head right there.
And you see some of the turf's been replaced, Jim, right down the middle of the field.
Yep.
You see what I see? Looks like it's either been replaced or there's certainly a difference in the color in the middle of the field. I don't know exactly what's causing some of the slippage that we saw earlier with Harrison, too.
4th down for the Spartans. Weaver wants to keep it on the right side. Cuts it back to the inside, and Weaver dives inside the 20, and he's got a Saraland first down.
Yeah, I think this is a part of their game plan to run this big guy a lot tonight and just see what he can do with the football in his hand with his feet.
Yeah, it's a power run game. Basically, you're blocking for your back as you would for a tailback. It's just, in this case, you're doing it for the quarterback who's in the shotgun.
Yeah, comes in at 6'1", 195 senior. Wants to go out of here his senior year with a ring on his finger. Do everything he can to help his team.
Sean Long and at receiver Jones split to the near side. They give it to Long right up the middle, and Long's inside the 10 all the way to the 6, and it's 1st and goal Spartans.
He found a tiny little crease finally up the middle. As you can see right here, he cuts it up in there and then cuts it all the way back trying to get some more yardage. He's last one before he gets to the goal line. Sets him up 1st and goal, right?
Right in the A-gap.
16 touchdowns on the year for Long. And from the 6, Chris Weaver and the Spartans are knocking on the door. Get a flag before. See if this one will.
Probably somebody jumping a little early.
No, it's going to be its.
The kids are clapping for Saraland against Spanish Ford.
Encroachment. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Remains 1st down.
Well, they say encroachment defense. They took the ball back 5 yards.
Sure.
So hang on a second, everybody.
Yeah, that's confusing. And we've seen that out of this crew before. So which one is it? Now they're going to get back together and determine exactly what they're going to do. All right, they make the correction there now. That's what he signaled.
Can you imagine Jeff Kelly last time here?
It's like, hey, what
He's
are
just
you
going to
doing?
be like, I'm going to just coach from home somewhere on a
Tell you,
remotely.
they got it right now. That's the main thing.
That's right. 1st and goal from the big game for the officials, too. I mean, it's a big game for the kids. It's an honor to work these games.
Oh, yeah. Then you could tell the officials knew they were in for a big one tonight, obviously. But as the crowd poured in here early.
Yep. Best of the best in the stripes tonight as well. Weaver on the right side. He's going to be hit. He's trying to push forward, and he'll gain 1.
There's too many black jerseys playing on Saraland's side of the football. A lot of penetration there by defense.
2nd and goal. A quick move in first half as we're down to 7.5 to go already in the 2nd quarter. And now they'll bring in Tyler Sims.
Yeah, Sims, even just to knock somebody off the point.
Clock down to 8 seconds.
Weaver. Let Sims go in front of him. He dives in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, being led by Sims, the linebacker, just like Dan said.
Yeah, with Sims, you know, you can either give it to him because he's a linebacker, or you can ask him to block because he's a linebacker.
Yeah, you can follow him through the hole, right?
He opened it up, and Weaver with his 14th rushing touchdown of the year, and the Nut House is going crazy over there on the Saraland sideline.
Who can blame them? They got here early tonight, as the gates open around 5 o'clock.
Cowbells in hand.
Already we saw them pack those stands on the far side.
They opened the gates, and it looked like the opening day at the Hangout Festival. All the Saraland fans rushing down to get their seats.
It was like Black Friday night.
It's it.
Exactly.
Saraland strikes first. They take advantage of the great field position. They lead it 7-0 halfway through quarter number 2. Hasselberger was a little dinged up on that play. Left guard for Saraland. You see the 35 yards, they flipped the field like we talked about, and they're able to get the touchdown, take advantage of the short field.
Yeah, because going 80 on either one of these teams is not going to be any joy.
Yep.
You need a short field or you need a big play. The 2 big plays that look like Spanish Fort had going, drop pass and a slip.
Yep. High kick to the near side. Cam Harrison at the 20 looking for a blocker. Harrison trying to get to the outside, and he'll be caught from behind and pulled down to the 32-yard line as Dean Darren. Make it Darren Dean able to come make the stop.
He goes by either.
DD with the stop.
Yeah.
And now the Toros will try to respond, being down 7-0.
Harrison back at tailback. Shable a no-go after that last attempt to get some yards.
Javon Brown, junior quarterback, forced into action when Tyler Johnston tore his ACL in the earlier game this season. The play clock all the way down to 0. And a 5-yard delay of game penalty coming up here on the Toros.
Yeah, that time they held him too long, just trying to play cat and mouse and figure out the play. You can see right in the Javon Brown eyes as he was anticipating a call from the sideline.
Mark Freeman says they have about 30% of the offense in they had when Tyler Johnston was the quarterback. And they give it to Cam Harrison, and Harrison breaks the tackle, and he's up to the 37-yard line. Good pickup on 1st and 15.
Yeah, what they've got in toughness. Could have got a face mask there, but Harrison not really with breakaway speed, but he's going to get you some tough yards.
Tell you what, Harrison DeLong, that right tackle, really had a great block.
He got 10 there, and he'll get maybe 2 on 2nd down. James Osborne able to come up and make the stop, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down and about 3. Nothing's coming easy tonight.
No. See the Toros a little more up-tempo. Third down. Brown gives it off to Harrison. He's hitting the backfield, nowhere to go.
Just too much penetration that time. And McCall Stokes that made the tackle.
All right, a flag right at the end of this play as well, while the players were all still together. A dead ball foul. We'll see. May have been something that was said, because it didn't look like there was much pushing and shoving at the end of that one.
Well, we know from last week this crew here runs a tight shift.
Yeah, we had a lot of hankies on the field last week. A lot of it was disciplinary over action like this.
Totally intolerable to any type of infractions in terms of language, I would assume, or action after the whistle is blown.
Well,
let's find out. I think it's going to be against Saraland.
These teams have got similar personalities and playing through the whistle.
After the play, personal foul, defense, 15 yards from the end of the run. That player is ejected.
Wow. And an ejection as well. And Bryce Hoven, I don't want to convict him just yet, but it was right in the middle of the play, and we see that young man go over and take his helmet off.
Wow.
Well, we just said it, and we witnessed it last week. A lot of players were on the edge last week. They ejected an adult from the sideline last week and had law enforcement assist with that. So
if they could hear Jim Cox, he'd have been gone.
I tell you what, this crew just, they just have a very, very low tolerance for anything that they feel That is unnecessary.
I'd like to know, well, you know, in a game like this, you're going to be strolling the line there almost on every play. What did Hovind do that was
so egregious?
Yeah.
But you know what? We got some great sportsmanship out there. Skylar Mosley was just shaking hands with the offensive line of the Toros, and they were all talking together.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so they mark off the big penalty here. And Skylar Mosley probably just saying something to the effect of, hey guys, this is going to be a great game. Let's play. But the official emphatically threw the flag at the end of that play, right in the middle of the pile. Oh, it was a punch. Yeah, kind of threw a punch over the top there.
Wow.
Well, that's certainly not necessary, and I'll have to agree with him on that.
I just hate that Hovind's gone for the game, though. I mean, that's a big penalty to pay.
Yeah, you got to hold your composure and no need of throwing any blows other than the ones where you're throwing your body into a runner.
Morgan Baker came in and had to carry on that one on first down. He picks up one. Harrison slips again, second time tonight.
Right around the hash. We've had 3 slips in the area of the hash. And in fact, Harrison's first one might have been a little bit closer to the sideline, but that's just a little turf trouble.
3rd and 9. Brown sprints out to the near side, fires it off, able to get it complete. He's got Logan Baker, and Baker, the sophomore, to the 31. It's first down, Spanish Fort.
Yeah, he's had that run-pass option around the end all night. This time, I guess he's sucking them up, and they uncover the receiver. So he says, hey, I'll take that open receiver and throw it to him.
You know, he almost had some room to run on his own right there, but that also gave him a clear path to make the throw to Baker.
Sure. Trusting his eyes.
From the 32, Morgan looking, make it Brown, and he's going to pick up 5.
Yeah, that time he had Ladero Petway out there by himself. He should have released it to him.
He did on that far sideline.
He'd
still be running
for it, but he just do it. Javon's going to be careful with the football. You can bank on that. Coach Freeman has got him coached well up on that point.
Picks up 5. Inside 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Hard count. Play clock down at 10. Saraland showing blitz. Brown gives it off to Harrison right up the middle, and Harrison will pick up a couple. And 3rd and about, we'll call it 3rd and 4. Coming up here for the Toros.
They haven't missed Bryce Hovind yet. That one came right where Hovind would be.
Carlos Parrott came to replace him. Parrott 5'11", 290, so he fills the hole. 3rd and 3. Brown cuts it back to the inside. Now decides wants to throw. He's able to get it to Baker, and Baker's got it for another first down all the way to the 10-yard line. And when Dan and I, Logan Morgan with the catch, when Dan and I were talking before the game with Coach Freeman, he said that Logan Morgan's going to have a big game tonight, and so far he's playing really well.
Yeah, they're throwing it. They're targeting Logan Morgan, and he's coming through. The pass has been right there, too.
Got an injured Toro there. I think that's Justin Dunham, cornerback, one of their better players in the secondary.
Well, if you're a cornerback, you're certainly a very good athlete at this level. If you're a cornerback on a team that's 12-1.
Yeah, let's pray this young man's okay. Great sportsmanship by both football teams, all taking a knee along both sidelines.
Which you had too, Vic. You had 3 defensive backs converge on the receiver after the catch, and it looks like he got the worst of the collision.
Yeah, these corners, like you said, they're going to really have to be athletes for Saraland because of this run-pass option that Javon Brown's employing. It is, I mean, it really puts you in a bad predicament out there as a defender, especially back the cornerbacks.
It looks like this young guy's going to be gone at least for a while, but he's putting no pressure at all on that injured right leg.
Well, let's pray it's not as serious as it looks, and he's able to get to the sideline and they tape him up or something and get him back out there.
You know, they needed a big play, Spanish Fort, and they got it. And it was the penalty.
Yep.
The penalty and the ejection, the 15-yard penalty.
They had stopped him on 3rd down.
Yep.
And it also helps that Saraland is down a player, too, he being ejected.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can only fault himself for that because there's no reason to be throwing any punches out there or pushing after the whistle.
1st and 10 for the Toros from the 11.
The key has been Brown, run-pass option. That's where it's worked tonight.
Oh, yeah.
They found something, Jim. Let's see how long it works for them.
Brown looking to throw. Pressure there. Good pursuit and containment, and he's dropped at the 15.
Yeah, Coach Freeman would not like to see him take a sack there, but that was a straight drop back pass. He was trying to get it downfield. Nobody was open, or at least he wasn't comfortable enough to throw it. So he tries to use his athleticism to get away, but then ends up losing the yards, getting the sack.
And Osborne kind of just stayed home. He didn't over-pursue him because he makes so many players miss with the shiftiness. He just didn't want him to get around him. Great play.
Good scouting by him, huh? Knowing your opponent.
Now Brown looking all kinds of time. Pressure comes to the backside. Flips it. He's able to get it complete to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, all kinds of crossing back there with those receivers. It's going to cause someone to get open like that.
Darryl Petway was the one who finally broke free.
And Petway's the fortunate one to get it there. Bobble it, but collects it in at the last second there.
He's got some weapons in Petway and Marion. He's got some guys that can hurt people on the outside.
Timeout called for here with 1:59 left. 3rd and 2 coming up from the 3-yard line. They'll put him actually at the 4. They need to get down to the 1. There's Mark Freeman.
He's been in a few of these.
Wow, 15-1 in the playoffs here at Spanish Fort. Hey, time for our trivia question. Spanish Fort 3-1 all-time in semifinal games. Who's the only team that's ever defeated the Toros here in round 4? Noodle on that one until the second half.
Well, they don't have a long history, so we ought to be able to pull that one up.
We
and
should.
Dan, you look at me and say, well, I got this one. I'm going to hold it.
I'm looking at you like I hope you got it.
I do not have it.
They have won, you know, they're 13-0 all-time here. So there's a little hint.
Yep.
Wasn't here. They've won 13 straight playoff games, 25-3.
If we did the game, I don't recall it.
You want me to give it to you? Or hold it?
Oh, you can throw it out there now.
I'll throw it out there. It must have been those Viger Wolves.
We'll see, Vic.
Okay.
You know what?
That was, but that's not the right answer.
Okay.
They have lost to Viger Wolves in the playoffs. That was the last team to beat them in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it wasn't in the semis. Brown rolls out on 3rd down. Javon Brown back to the end zone, incomplete.
Just threw it a hair too far out trying to lead him, but the defender made him have to make that pass like that because he's in good shape if he gets his head around the defender.
Sklopan.
But they'll have to settle for a 3 out of this one.
That's a big no touchdown.
Yep. Yeah. So Matthew Quinn comes in, the 8th grader who was the hero that hit the 18-yard field goal last week at the horn to win it for the Toros up in McAdory. And this one will be from 21. And Quinn has got it. And it's 7-3. Big stop by the Saraland defense.
Quinn's responsible for a lot of points and a lot of roof damage on top of that field house. And through the years, this kid only, what, 14 years old?
Yeah, we were watching him watching him in warm-ups. We were down in the field, and he was, nailing from 45 without a problem. Yeah. And he's just a, 5'10", 140 pounds. But that leg is just like a whip.
Well, it's just like we talk about folks with the great golf stroke, and you think, wow, how does he hit it so far? And it's just the same sort of action, that the torque and the rhythm, and he really has got a live leg.
Everything they're describing, not your golf swing. No, is it?
Man, I take lessons from Barkley. That's mine.
So 1:52 left, 7-3 in a game in which you think points are going to be at a premium. Tough to come by all night long. Nobody expected this to be a shootout here tonight.
No.
Quinn with a knuckling kick to the 21. Taken there, Bellis Jones upended at the 35-yard line.
Saraland has one timeout to work with here at 1:45. Let's see what they decide to do.
They got Velus Jones, too, if you're looking for something deep.
There's the scoring drive, almost 5 minutes, aided by that big penalty on 3rd down.
And Jeff Kelly knows how to be involved in a big drive near the end of a game or a half, because I watched it myself as he beat Texas Christian in the Mobile, Alabama Bowl, now the GoDaddy Bowl.
Is that the first one? Is that the first one?
It may have been the first one.
Southern Miss graduate.
Yep.
They faked the end around, and now looking to go to Velus Jones up top, and it's through his hands, incomplete. Saraland crowd wanting a flag over there.
Yeah, I think I saw some jersey extend off the body there. I just decided not to call it. I could be right there looking at it as well as we were.
Weaver had lots of time.
And just like Dan said, you know, Coach Kelly's taking the shot. Let's see right where you see him. Side of the shot there, but you can see his hand was somewhere on his back. I don't know.
Tony,
from that angle, you couldn't see the jersey being pulled.
Is that Big Rocket siding with an offensive player? I mean,
I want to see a good, clean game. This is for the rings.
I didn't see anything there, Vic.
Pretty good coverage. Long, a big pop as he got to the 40-yard line. Third down coming up for the Spartans.
You end up with the ball in your hands in this game. Prepare for impact.
Ain't a hard need not apply, huh?
I'm telling you what. We knew it coming in, right?
Sure.
Winner of this game gets the winner of Florence Clay Chalkville next week in Auburn. 3rd down. Weaver rolls out. Looking down the sideline. Weaver stumbles at the 40, still on his feet, and steps out of bounds.
It's close.
At the 46-yard line.
Real close.
He knew where the sticks were.
And he showed you his agility right there. That was great work along that sideline. Put his hand down to gain a couple of more yards. I didn't know he had it in him, Dan.
Yeah, he's an athlete. And he may have extended this drive. We'll see when they bring out the chains.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring him all the way across the field.
Stripes getting a little workout. Running a gasser here.
The chain gang.
Those gassers are those things I like to forget, where the coaches make you run the width of the field, down and back, and then back again. That's just one, Dan.
I just keep going. You know what? Right through the
In junction bars, they say that's what they did. They just kept running and jumped the fence.
Saraland gets the 1st down, and you hear we hear some cheers on this side of the field. Saraland had brought so many people.
I mean,
that they,
you know, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah,
they got to the seats before Spanish Fort fans did. Seats that Spanish Fort Toro fans would be accustomed to sitting in.
Yeah. .56 seconds left in the opening quarter, the opening half. And at the 46-yard line, fresh set of downs for the Spartans. Weaver zips it to the near side. Velus Jones with a catch. And he steps out of bounds at the 43.
Well, you see Weaver, he has an arm where he throws it with authority out there to his receivers. If they could just gather it in. Good catch by Velus Jones there to kick the sticks and get a 1st down.
Saraland with 1 timeout remaining here.
Mark Freeman would be happy to draw up some plays for Velus Jones, but he doesn't have him on his team.
Weaver rolls out, pressure coming, fires it up on the far side, tipped in the air and incomplete.
I like his arm, man. He's got some strength, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Morgan Baker over there on the coverage on Velus Jones.
I mean, this kid could go, you know, he's one of those, I'll bet you, punt, pass, and kick kids from back in the day.
Sure.
You know, just an athlete that can, you know, ask him to do something. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, he came in 3rd place at least, top 3. You
I can tell you, the things that you cannot measure, that's what I think he really, really tops out at. Tough guy to play against.
Weaver over the middle, able to get that complete. It's his tight end, Robinson, and Robinson all the way down to the 13-yard line.
And it started with the ball handling of Weaver. Watch this overemphasized fake right there. Then he just steps back, zips it out there to him, and receiver catches the football, sets him up in good shape. 35 seconds here going into the end zone in the red zone.
Hey, that's a good catch, too.
Yep. That was.
Clock winds again. Now under center, Weaver. Looks to the far side. Now he wants to roll out. Weaver trying to get around, contain Maurice Cole, chasing from the backside, and Thomas Johnston will bring him down inbounds, and that'll force Saraland to use their timeout. As Johnston, the linebacker, able to hustle there and get him from behind.
Both these teams so hard to run across the field against, and again, Saraland's got to use that timeout because a very good athlete cannot quite make his way to the sideline.
Yeah, and if you're going to get there, you've got to have a ton of speed. And right there, it didn't look like he had a whole lot of speed to make that edge. It's probably better suited going north and south, I would imagine, with that big body.
Yeah, he's got good speed, but not quite enough to do that right there against this defense. But Jeff Kelly quick to call the timeout, manage the situation.
So you can take a shot in the end zone here with 13 seconds left. You actually can get a first down at the 4, but you would think if they're gonna take one shot, they're gonna throw it in the end zone.
And if you got the first down and it's not tackled immediately, the clock would just probably expire.
You've got
but you can't take a sack. I mean,
right, no timeouts. I think you take at least one shot to the end zone here. And again, what sort of faith do you have in your kicking game too?
Right, 2 for 4 on field goals of the year for Cody Everett, and 2 interceptions thrown in the first half by Chris Weaver. Bellis Jones at the top of the screen. Robeson in the slot. Brumbelow to the bottom of your screen. Second and 10. Weaver looks, fires to the end zone, and I think it might have been tipped, but there's a flag. Was that tipped?
Well, I thought the ball went behind the receiver, and after the ball had passed the receiver, he was kind of tripped by the DB.
Oh, that's tipped. Then that should not be pass interference.
If
that ball was tipped.
Now I think Johnston got there too early. I would disagree with that.
You thought so?
I do think so. But if it is tipped,
yeah, it definitely is.
All bets are off.
The ball is tipped.
Wow.
Right there.
Look at the effort, Vic.
Yeah. Kids are playing hard.
Yeah, they do.
For both sides.
J.D. Campbell.
What a big play.
Yep.
You won't see that in the highlights box or nowhere. Huge play by Campbell.
So it brings up third down here. Only took 4 seconds, so they could try a shot in the end zone here again, out of timeouts. Weaver rolls out, looks, fires, and it's incomplete. That's a good decision there by Weaver.
He's handling the football well.
Didn't have much to get a chance to get 3 points
here.
Correct.
It was basically a 2-receiver set that he rolled that way. He was either going to go to the tight end.
And he's coached to throw it. If it's not there, throw it anyway so that we can still get the clock stopped.
He was going to Robinson or Jones and went for the big body guy in the corner and just didn't get it. But
they're going to go for it.
It looks like Coach Kelly's going to gamble it again.
So you talked about the kicking game, and I guess that answers that.
Yep.
Play clock already down to 7. Weaver is going to send in man in motion. I don't know if they're going to get the snap off. They do. Weaver rolls out. Now he has to reverse pivot, floats it back to the near side, up in the air, tipped and incomplete as he tried to go to Brumbelow. And the Toros come up with a stand.
Well-designed play with the action going the opposite way, and he pivots back, throws it over here to the single receiver. He hit him in the hands. He just did not collect the football with a host of Toros around him. I don't even know if he'd have got in the end zone, and even if he'd have caught it.
You're right.
What a first half of football here. 7-3 our score. Let's go down to Ashley.
Well, you've had to pretty much work hard for every play this first half. Just take me through it.
That's what you expect this time of the year. Spanish Fort's a great team, a great defense. They've been here, they're gritty. It's going to be a 48-minute game. We knew that coming in. You got to work for every yard, and both defenses are playing well, so we got to find a way to scratch out some points.
What do you want to tell your team in the locker room?
This is what you work for. This is what you work for. We got a half a game left to go, and And, you know, I expect our bunch and everybody else, you know, to come out and lay it on the line and get a chance to make a play. We gotta make it.
Thank you.
Jeff Kelly, his team leads 7-3 here at the half, a semifinal game in Spanish Fort. And Dan Brennan said he couldn't imagine a much better atmosphere, couldn't imagine a much better game through the first half.
We'll take it.
Saraland on top, 7-3. We'll enjoy the bands coming up after this. Halftime 7-3, our score. Saraland on top of Spanish Fort. Let's go down and enjoy the Saraland Spartan Marching Band. score, Saraland leads Spanish Fort 7-3. And let's go down now and enjoy the Spanish Fort band here at the half.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Spanish Fort High School marching band. The doors of Spanish Fort High School opened in August 2005 under the leadership of Principal Michael Lucci, who from the beginning had a clear vision and determined spirit as to the direction it was headed. The student population that year consisted of grades 7 through 10 only. And although we had state-of-the-art, architecturally beautiful and unique buildings, there were still many programs and projects left to accomplish. There were no varsity sports teams, no football team, no advanced placement classes, no library books, just to name a few things. However, each year the Toros grew bigger and stronger with the assistance of the Spanish Fort Leadership Foundation and a dedicated PTA. Advanced placement classes were added in 2006 and have maintained some of the highest success rates in the country and state since that time. The first graduating class of Spanish Fort High School was the class of 2008. Those graduates are now contributing to society, some having pursued graduate degrees from universities and others in trade schools, some pursuing careers, some gainfully employed, and some now raising families of their own. The Toros Football Stadium complex was completed in the fall of 2008, followed by the athletic complex, which is some become known as the Hill. Mr. Rucci retired in 2008, and Mrs. Barrett's son was named principal of Spanish Fort High School. The Spanish Fort High School track team brought home the first state championship in the spring of 2009, and since that time, our athletic teams have won a remarkable 12 state championships in both male and female sports, 2 of which are back-to-back state football championships. In 2010, Mr. Marty McWade was named principal and has continued to work toward academic excellence as well as technological advancements. That same year, we proudly announced our first National Merit Scholarship finalists, and by that year had an award-winning band, choir, and art program, as well as some musical theater productions under our belt. Various Spanish Fort clubs and programs have volunteered and served in countless community projects. Clubs such as Project Reach, Key Club, Frick Club, Teenage Republicans, the FCCLA, Spanish Club, the FBLA, Spirit Helpers, Tour Bots, and FCA. Outstanding students are recognized in the National Honor Society, Mutant Alpha Frick Honor Society, and the Art Honor Society. Spanish Fort High School and its alumni are looking to make even more advancements and improvements in the years to come, such as athletic and academic career academies and campus expansion. It has been a decade, but we are just getting started. There is no stopping the Spanish Fort Toros. At this time, we ask you to please stand for the Spanish Fort alma mater original composition, All to You Spanish Fort, and join vocalist Caroline and the American Spanish Fort High School marching Toros Band. The marching band celebrates of great Toros football. Now, unfolding the initials and now, ladies and gentlemen, we are with Semifinals High School, number 4. Mississippi State, the University of Southern Mississippi, the University of South Alabama, and Faulkner Community College, just to name a few. The marching band under the superior senior drum direction of Nathan McDonald and assistant Michaela Armstrong received all superior at the Azure City Marching Contest and placed second at the Battle of the Beach in Melbourne. The band also marched in the Make a Dream Come True in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. The band is now performing its award-winning halftime presentation. Now a program and a program. Congratulations for the 76th
score at the half pretty much says it all, how much of a defensive struggle it was in the first half. We talked about in the opening of the show how great both these teams were defensively, and that's what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're going to show you some halftime highlights, but we'd have a lot more defensive highlights than we would offensive highlights as you're about to see.
And what's wrong with that, guys?
This is a Vic Lockett type of football game. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett here at the half. And Vic, really, many adjustments you think that need to be made by either side right now?
Well, right now, I think they have filled each other out and know kind of what each team is trying to accomplish. So it's just a matter now, the adjustments off of what you've been seeing, they're going to change up probably.
Yeah, let's take a look at what we saw there in the first half. There wasn't much offensively that took place. A couple of turnovers early on as Nick Weaver was picked off here. This one was, again, that was a fourth down, so it really was like a punt situation here. But this was the long run that set up the touchdown, and that was Sean Long that got them down in a first and goal situation. And that was 7-0 after the ensuing touchdown. And then Matthew Quinn with a 22-yard field goal attempt made it 7-3. And that's where we're at right now. And the Toros will kick off to open things up here in quarter number 3. And I think we talked about it at the breakdown. I mean, pretty much what we thought we'd see here tonight.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Low scoring, great defense, and nothing coming easy.
Kick on the far side, and this is Long, and Long with a good return, and he's out to the 38-yard line. And let's go down and check in with Ashley Pope on the sideline.
I caught up with Coach Freeman coming out of the locker room, and he said that they just got to keep playing and playing, and that's what these games are made of. There's 2 more quarters to this game, and then we'll see who the best team is, he says.
Well, I can agree with that. Yeah, in a tight game like this, you just keep playing and play hard, and usually something good happens.
You never know when that big play is going to happen or the game is going to turn things around. And a game like this, it could come on any snap.
I think you hear a lot, you know, coaches talk about 4 or 5 plays decide a game. 4 or 5 big plays is nothing doing there on first down in Spanish Fort Day. And they had a couple of chances in the first half to make some big plays.
Yeah, they did. They slipped on a screen pass that looked like it was going to be big for Harrison.
Yep.
Also, there was a dropped long pass down the middle that would have changed field position by about 40 yards.
Yep. Second and 8 here for the Spartans. We have not seen Nick Williams back in running the football since early in that first half. He has not been there, so Sean Long has been toting the load. And he's in there now as well. Quick pass on the far side. Bellis Jones with a reception. Spins, and Jones has a first down into Spanish Fort territory.
Would not shock me if you don't see Bellis Jones maybe getting the ball in some other creative ways. Because he's an athlete.
That's right.
He can make people miss.
That's right.
He's a long strider. He can make a big play.
And that's what you do in high school football. You get it to your best player because one player can make a difference in high school.
At the 48-yard line, there's Bellis Jones, 5'11", 180-pound junior. Give up the middle. Football came loose. And Saraland able to get it back. And Saraland with 2 turnovers in the first half. Let's watch here.
I lost the football in there myself with all the humanity. It must be a penalty somewhere. Didn't see the flag.
Sideline interference. Defense, 5 yards. The down counts. Second down.
Tell you what,
Wow, sideline interference. And
Kelly and the no-nonsense crew.
and a play that went right up the middle, nowhere near, but the official must have been.
He got bumped.
We saw that that call got made last week.
Yeah, but did.
Well, maybe he got breathed on, not just bumped.
But something must have happened.
Second and about 4. Weaver rolls out. He's got some room. Looking to get a block in front of him, and Weaver will step out of bounds. And he's got the first down, but he's at the 35, so that will move the chains.
Well, that kick return put this team in good shape to start the second half, and they're moving right down the field.
Toros coaching staff was calling for a hold on that play.
Let me say right now, I would not be surprised. You know, again, both these defenses, hard to move it on for the entire drive. You want to take a shot? How about at the 35-yard line with a guy like Jones, possibly the tight end, Robinson? Let's see.
They did work some stuff in practice up the seam. It is a good spot for them.
Toros showing blitz, and they're coming. Time for Weaver over the middle of the field. Tipped and incomplete. And now a late flag comes in as well. Colt Steiner got a hand on that.
Excuse me, Jim. You did call it, man, right there. And then I called it for that seam play. Saw him work this a lot in practice.
Play action. You know the kid can catch it. He made a nice catch in the first half, too. That one gets tipped away, and
this is going to be a big penalty. Wow. So the hold will push him all the way back to the 48-yard line.
Would not have counted anyway.
Yep. These holding calls are just drive killers.
Yeah. Now you're thinking if we just run it, right? Both these teams, tough to keep off the quarterback. So you're going to get these holds.
1st and 23 for the Spartans.
Both get off blocks real well.
Pressure coming. They look to get the screen long out of the backfield. Long hit. Football comes loose. Loose on the far side. Picked up and recovered by the Toros at the 48.
The play was set up very well, but defensively, they recovered very well also.
Morgan Baker comes up with a bounding football right in front of the Saraland sideline.
You knew immediately it was the screen, how they were letting the defenders come in, and then they just recovered back over there, jarring the football loose, making a turnover so that they could get the football here real quickly in their hands.
I think Vic had it. This play looked good, and then Spanish Fort quickly got off blocks and recovered.
Yeah, I think it was J.D. Campbell who came from behind and swatted it out.
He and Johnston were there. They both create a lot of problems.
And now taking a shot. Let's see when Mark Freeman tries to dial one up deep here. Give it up the middle. Cam Harrison churns it out to midfield.
The guy we haven't seen much, if any of, is Marion.
Nope.
Who's kind of a mismatch physically, standing at about 6'3". Vic, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they just, you never see him go to him much. He used to do a lot of blocking, so maybe they'll change it here now.
7, Brown looking for a block. Falls forward up to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, right there, just like you saw, they had trips formation. He's in the closest end man on the line, and he just uses that big body to shield people. Good looking Kevin there.
6'4", 215 senior.
Yeah.
You'd like to see him get back there with the mismatch and at least throw it up to him a couple times.
Well, if you're having trouble moving it there, at least you got that option, right?
Yeah, in your back pocket.
3rd and 4. Brown rolls out, fires it off. Christian Cotton with it. Cotton cuts it back to the inside. Now fights for yards, and he's got a Toro first down.
Well, I like what Cotton did as soon as he caught it, Vic. He smelled first down. That's all he was thinking about. Didn't try to break it outside. Makes a beeline, just trying to get this first down. Watch right here. Plants, cuts.
Yeah, that was just a long handoff there by Javon to get it to him out there. And yeah, you know where you are on the field. Yeah. Down in distance is very important.
Justin Dunham not out there. And starting cornerbacks for Saraland went out with an injury in the first quarter, and now movement up front against the Toros.
That's a Saraland band not making it any easier. Jim, between the band, the fans, and the team, it really is a community effort for Saraland football.
Well, it was so loud, I thought it was a combination of both bands.
Right, that was just one.
1st and 15. Now for the Toros. Brown on the keeper. Now rolls out, fires it off. He's able to get that one complete, and that's Logan Morgan to the 35.
That's the 3rd time he's hit Morgan on the same play. Pass run option. Decides to give it to, again, he's got a clear path to Morgan.
Johnny Slopan with the stop. I think his dad used to be the principal out at Baker, Mr. Slopan, if I'm not mistaken.
I think his uncle played linebacker at Penn State with that name.
2nd and 8. Harrison up the middle. Cam Harrison with a first down and more. Harrison Touchdown, Toros, 34 yards.
He saw that crease. He turned the Jets on, didn't he?
He sure did. And he shows for a guy that weighs 165 pounds, he's tough to get to the ground at the very end.
Yeah, bro. Javon just hands it into him in his bread basket, and there's a crease, and he just turns the Jets on and goes north and south.
What about the blocking up front to open it up, though, Vic Lockett?
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's the way Coach Freeman likes those backs to do. Go north and south.
Looked like a little trap play, and they just busted it wide open on that occasion.
Quinn for the PAT. And the Toros regain the lead. Their first of the night, should say. They're up by a score of 10-7, 34 yards for the junior, Cam Harrison. Kind of like a heavyweight fight. Saw a counter punch coming from the two-time defending champions.
Yeah, they did it on the run pass option. We talked about that at halftime. That's been their best option offensively. And then out of nowhere, trap play, and Harrison, who hadn't gotten much tonight, gets a big run, 34 right up the gut.
Saraland without their starting nose tackle, lost to an ejection in the first quarter. Quinn will kick.
Yeah, that could be the difference in that particular play.
High kick to the near side, the 25-yard line. Bellis Jones is dropped after he moves it just across the 30. How about the atmosphere here? I mean, it really is it's just so great on both sides.
You can see the crowd, and what you don't see is that crowd wrapping all the way around the stadium. Fences 2 or 3 deep.
So look at the score in summary.
Yep, minute 43 on that drive. The big play, the run by Harrison. Coming off the fumble recovery that set him up in great field position.
You're right. That was big.
Third turnover of the night for Saraland.
Yep.
Spanish forward with none. Tough to win. And we lose the turnover battle by that much. And Weaver gets maybe one.
Something a little different there. He kind of just took a step to his left and then tried to get north and south really quick. Coaches probably talked to him about not going to be too much out there on the edges.
Mm-hmm. He's big enough to get it done between the tackles, too.
He is.
And salty enough, too.
They officially give him 2, 2nd and 8. Weaver looks for Jones in space. Jones with a catch, still on his feet, then takes a big lick at the end of the play. Paid the price. There is Colt Steiner, the sophomore. Good size, 5'11", 195. He put the hit on, but it's good for a Saraland first down.
Yeah, he catches the football, does a little dance, make a couple of people miss, but Colt says, hold it right here.
His granddaddy's been calling KSJ for a number of years, saying, I got a grandson playing in the 8th grade. Now he's a freshman. Well, now he's a sophomore, and he made a big play.
Weaver on the left side. Now Weaver up past midfield. It's to the 48-yard line. Ball came loose at the end of that play.
Yeah, looks like it did. I just don't know if he was down or not when it came out.
Not got us down. They would say he was down. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, I know Weaver is used to breaking some of these runs that he's been doing here tonight, but not against this group. These Toros are well coached, and they really be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there.
Picks up 9.
Reminds you a little bit of Saraland.
Yes.
2nd and 1. Weaver, pump fake pressure coming. He's hit, flips it up on the near side, looking for Bellis Jones, who's got it at the 9.
Wow. What a catch.
I tell you what, Weaver, what a pass. Yeah. I mean, with his momentum going backwards because they had that little cross-buck pressure on him, and he just flings it out there to him.
Holcomb never turned around.
And he made a great catch there along the sideline to locate the football.
A couple of great athletes combining to make a big play. That's what you need in a game like this.
No doubt.
Weaver hung in there and took the hit just as he delivered it as well.
I thought he was pretty close to the sideline. I wasn't sure if he was in or not, Jim.
He was in. 1st and goal from the 9 on the big play. That's one of those big plays. You only Said only get a handful of those opportunities tonight, and Saraland takes advantage of it. And now Weaver rolls out, wants to keep it. Gets to about the 6.
Yeah, Vic called it right there. He's figured out we're going to have to turn it in against this team. They pursue and maintain the edge too well.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm sure Coach Kelly told him during the half, look, your bread and butter is going to come going north and south. Quit trying to get to the edge. Turn it upfield as soon as you see any daylight.
Not seeing Tyler Sims in there. 2nd and goal from the 6.
This matchup has got like a moxie overload. A lot of tough kids.
Sean Long in the backfield. They fake to him. Now they fire, and that one tipped or slipped out of the hands of Weaver.
I tell you what, he had the receiver, too, on that little slant.
Quick slant. The receiver's got position, and it is tipped by Johnston.
Yep.
Thomas Johnston.
How many plays have we seen him make?
You know, and an effort play right there.
Sure.
3rd and goal from the 6.
You could see why Clemson offered that young man early.
Think of the 3rd grade.
He was a 4th grader. 3rd and 6, nothing.
Jeff Kelly started the clock.
Yeah. Now they do. I thought Jeff Kelly maybe was going to take a timeout there, but now they got personnel shifting around. Still plenty of time on the play clock because it's just at 15. 3rd and goal.
Looks like they're going to try to get some going to the wide side of the field over there to the left of the offense.
They split out. Long. They fire it to him. Sean Long hit, and did they blow a whistle? He's still on his feet. I thought I heard a whistle blow. And they drop a flag at the end of that one as well.
I tell you what, the pursuit of Spanish sport is relentless.
Coming up, Morgan Baker slowed him down first, and then J.D. Campbell, you can see Campbell was trying to punch it out, and he did. That's what they were marking the beanbags. The ball did come out.
That's what was thrown with the beanbag.
And so now we will see go for the field goal that they forewent at the end of the first half.
And I think this is a wise decision by Coach Kelly.
This will be from 21 yards.
It's a wise decision if it goes through.
Cody Everett is 2 for 4 on the year.
Dan, you've been talking to too many coaches.
And we get a flag.
There's a reason they didn't kick it in the first half, would be my guess.
All right, pre-snap flag here.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense, half the distance to the goal, still 4th down.
Now he may change his mind.
Yeah, now you move it up to the 2-yard line.
You know,
I think maybe do you not take it because it makes the angle a little sharper.
Well, look at this.
So now you'll take the penalty.
He's got a powwow with his group on the sideline.
It's a big play here.
Well, they got to do something. The clock's ticking down. Did he get a timeout?
Let's see. Play clock at 14.
So they're going to go for it from the far hash.
They're going to probably go on a quick count here as the crowd stands at their feet.
We got Tyler Sims in there as well. Weaver trying to get to the left side. Weaver dives up. He's hit at the goal line. Touchdown, Spartans.
They had to beat the clock, too. I mean, that thing was rolling when they sprinted out there.
Well, I think that aided them because, see, the defense needs to get there and get lined up. Offensively, you know where you're going, so
I think you're right.
That gives you the upper hand in that particular situation.
I think you're right. They knew exactly what they were going to do.
So that's a big encroachment penalty as they decide to not go for the PAT and instead go for the touchdown, and they get it on 4th and goal. And Everett makes it 14-10.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, from the sideline.
Saraland regains the lead. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Chickasaw River Gambler.
You got it.
Bellis Jones with a big reception there that got a first down, and then here was the big play. Going up top again to Bellis Jones, who made the great catch, turned around Stephen Holcomb, and then here on 4th down, decide to go for it.
Faith in the offensive line, and faith in Chris Weaver.
And it pays off, and they have the lead. 69 yards on the drive, a little over 3 minutes.
Nothing conservative about Jeff Kelly. That's what you get when you have these quarterbacks running the offense and being head coaches. They just always believe in their quarterbacks.
Look at everybody lined up to this side of the field. They'll kick it this way. Harrison at the 18. Harrison to the 27. I mean, every play is a hard-earned yard.
Yep, all highly contested. There's the only guy that's seen the end zone for Spanish Fort tonight, Cam Harrison, getting a lot of playing time because of the injured ankle of Trey Shable, the senior.
Mark Freeman has his offense huddled around him. Harrison in with Brown. Gives the handoff. Harrison on the right side. Spins up near the 30-yard line. Still on his feet. And Tyler Sims had a hold of that jersey from the get-go.
Yeah, he did, with the blocker intact to him. Talk about effort.
Pick up of a couple there for Harrison, as Dan alluded to. Saw Trey Shable come in for one series and couldn't get much going on that bum ankle. Brown rolls out, gets it to Christian Cotton. Cotton makes a nice little move at the 30. And he's up to the 36-yard line. Cotton was a guest on our pregame show earlier this season. What a fun young man he was.
Yes, he was. And now he's going to have to play a role in this offense, getting back that lead. He is one of the playmakers. He and Marion.
3rd and 3. Now they'll put Harrison out in the slot, and all kinds of movement before the snap here.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to call it on this, but the Saraland crowd really thinks it's going to be Spanish Fort.
Had Ladero Petway back in the backfield. So 3rd and 8. Coming up for the Toros, Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Jared Keyhouse in the truck, Ashley Pope on the sideline. Final broadcast of the year here on UTV 44. And it's been a good one so far. Brown steps up in the pocket, gets it to Harrison. Harrison is hit and driven out of bounds by Tyler Sims, and there's a flag at the 30-yard line.
Flag at the impact. So I don't know what that's going to be all about. Great play by Sims.
That was the line of scrimmage.
Okay, maybe so that flag was there. Okay, you're right, it was early.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against Spanish Fort. The ref is talking to Jeff Kelly about how he wants this.
I'm really feeling a little momentum shift in this game right now.
Offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, make them punt it here and get the football back in their hands in pretty good field position.
Wakatu and AU back around to 20. Tyler Sims will stand at his own 35. Wakatu and AU with a low line drive kick. Takes a bounce, and Sims decides not to grab it. And all the way down to the 22-yard line. Good punt by Wakatu and AU. And
I'm going to throw a guess out here real quick.
all right, so
at the buzzer,
Spanish Fort 3-1 all-time in semifinal games. Who's the only team that's defeated the Toros in round 4? Vic said Viger. That was not correct, but they were the last team to beat
Vic
Spanish Fort.
He went out early.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out St. Paul's.
St. Paul's 0 for 2 in the booth. Demopolis.
Wow.
At Demopolis, 29-28 in 2009.
And that may have been the year that St. Paul's won it, and that's what I was banking on.
I think last week there was some talk the trivia question was way too easy. No reciprocation on a solid effort this week. 1st and 10 from the 23. Spartans with the lead. Pitch it off to the near side, and Tyler Sims is eaten up on the play as Trey 3, linebacker on linebacker there.
Well, we haven't seen the toss sweep at all tonight. There's
Might not
why.
see it again. Reed was the first one in there. Made the stop.
Basic plays just are out of the window these days in high school, college, and pro football. 3 of the 4 starters on this linebacking crew will be back next year for Spanish Fort.
Unbelievable.
Only one to graduate will be D. Thomas. I'm sorry, not D. Thomas, will be J.D. Campbell.
Johnson's got 2 more years left.
Yes.
Now Weaver looking to throw, looking to go up top. Bellis Jones, and he overthrew him.
I tell you what, Weaver showed off his arm right there.
He's got one, I'm telling you now.
I was not aware of that kid having a gun.
Louisiana,
1,678 yards coming in tonight, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Louisiana Lafayette thinks enough of it that they've recruited him as a quarterback.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't find the field, somewhere.
3rd and 14. Bring Long back in.
You know what they're doing right here, Jim, is remember when they did score, they scored on a short field. So if they can hold them right here, get a punt to their liking, once again, you've got that shorter field.
Play action. Weaver over the middle, air mails that one incomplete.
Yeah, way too high for everybody.
And a quick 3 and out.
Yeah, it's a quick 3 and out. Clock stops. Spanish Fort offense can regroup. Good job by the D. Robinson's got a shot to catch that one. It's just way over his head, and Weaver a little mad with Weaver.
And Zach Everett will now punt from his own 5, and Ladero Petway will stand around the 45. I guess the Toros would get good field position out of this one. 4th and 14.
Big pointing out, you don't often see the quarterback as the personal protector on the punt team, but you don't always have Chris Weaver out there.
Good kick, and Petway lets that one bounce. And it rolls all the way down to the 35, 34-yard line. More sponsors of high school football here on UTV 44 include Mullinex Ford. Thank you to Mullinex for awarding the $5,000 scholarship to Brady Glover of Baker High School. She was one of our Scholastic Athletes of the Week. Millsap and Associates. Also, Wickman's Ace Hardware, the helpful hardware place. Go check out the new paint center. They do a little painting during the Iron Bowl.
Look at this.
3 receivers stacked to the bottom of the screen. And Brown, that one didn't quite get going, but he'll pull it down. Brown is trying to make something happen. He gets hit from behind and pushes it ahead for a gain of 8. That was not what they had drawn up there.
No, looks like he had trouble getting the football. He loses it as he tries to throw it out there, and then he wisely decides to tuck it away and just get all he can get. This young man, I'm impressed with just protecting the football. That is big.
Collided with his own halfback right there.
2nd and 2 up the middle. Brown has a first down.
Well, Coach Freeman saw him just run that formation and just run out of it. He said, hey, let's do that again. That picked up 9 yards.
Keep in mind on the corner, too, that run-pass option has been successful for them.
Sure. It's amazing the coaching. The play calling goes in plays called in the first half, trying to set up something maybe late in the 3rd quarter, early in the 4th quarter. Always from both sidelines here.
Wow, we love this game.
Short hop, that one was trying to come to Marion.
Kevin was getting his opportunity there, but you got to get it high for the big man to go down there and pick it up.
Left
that
tackle
was even low and short.
Jacob Johnson was out there to throw a block, but the pass never got there.
2nd and 10 from the 47. See the little smoke on the screen coming from the grill.
I thought it may have been fog sitting in.
Yeah, no, that's wafting from the Toro grill. Harrison up the middle. Harrison to the 45, and 3rd and short coming up.
3rd and about 2.
Yeah, got some success there running through that 7 hole out there. Between the tight end and the tackle.
Harrison toting the load again this week with the injury to Shable. He'll line up in behind Brown. He gives it to him, and Harrison gets low and ahead, but I don't think he got there.
Yeah, Looks like he was about to get there and get a lot more if it wasn't for a shoestring tackle.
Yeah, they had him by the ankles.
Yeah, and there's a flag at the bottom of that pileup as well. Looks like it's going to be against Saraland. I didn't see it come out during the play.
Yeah, it was in that pile there, and they hit it there in all that humanity.
Would have been 4th and about a yard. Officials having a conversation.
And then some.
Well, let's hope they're having this long conference to get it correct.
Well, it looks like, again, they're writing something down. Obviously, they are.
Wow, I wonder if there's going to be another ejection here.
Well, you know they have a low tolerance for sure.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense, 15 yards. What's that?
No ejection, but a 15-yarder at the end of the play. Let's look.
See if we see anything there.
Yeah, it was,
something went on there.
Yeah. James Osborne was down there at the bottom of the pile, giving him the business, as they say. Gives the Toros a first down all the way to the 29. Here's Harrison. Got tripped up on the play by Ty Rowland.
Last time that happened, Spanish Fort ended up with a score.
Inside a minute to go in the third.
First time was, coupled with an ejection, which we did not have there.
3-yard pickup for Harrison.
Run pass, maybe? Watch the quarterback on the move.
Watch for Petway at the top of the screen. They haven't got it to him much tonight. Harrison up the middle, takes a bang, still on his feet, and delivers one himself, and he's got a first down.
Yeah, Scholar had him there, but he ducked his head and didn't wrap up right there, and he just bounces off that tackle there. He lowers the boom again on Johnny Flopan.
Harrison gives the Toros a first down. At the 17-yard line.
There's a lot of dynamite on 165 pounds.
Marion in motion. They give it to Harrison again. Tries to set up his block, and this time he'll be hit and drop back at the line of scrimmage, and that will bring the third quarter to a close. We will head to quarter number 4. 14-10, Saraland trying to punch their ticket to Jordan-Hare. The Toros trying to go back for a third straight year. Chris Weaver gave his team the lead. Talked about the smoke. Nick thought it was the fog drifting off the bay, but no, it's definitely the smoke coming from the grill there, the Toro Grill.
Yeah, Derek Turner told me before the game he's working the grill and got burgers fried. I'm grilling up over there.
Shrimp, fries, fish, chicken up here. I mean,
I've seen fog, and I can tell you fog never smelled that good.
And it's just kind of hanging in the air, not a puff of wind moving here tonight. Here's Mark Freeman. So hard to get back to state. He's trying to get his team for the third straight year. No gain for Harrison as we start the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10. Brown gives it off. Harrison on the right side. He'll get a couple.
Strength on strength.
Yeah, both these teams are doing all of their work in the middle between tackle to tackle. Trying to find that crease again where they could get some movement.
3rd and 9.
Mark Freeman, great play caller. Let's see what happens here.
Brown looking to throw. Wanted Cotton. Instead, he's going to pull it down. Makes a move on the near sideline. He'll be wrestled out of bounds well short of the first down. He wanted Cotton, but he was covered up the right side, McLaughlin.
Yeah, Waddell Flott just had him blanketed out there, and good patience by the defense to recognize, take care of what you're supposed to, cover your responsibility.
Yeah, that's why I brought up Freeman as a play caller. I had a feeling right there that he was going to take a shot in the end zone. That was the play. It just was well defended by Saraland.
They'll bring the 8th grader out, Matthew Quinn. This will be a 29-yard attempt. Chase White to hold.
Sometimes the defense wins, but looks like they've been winning a lot tonight, guys. I love it.
And it's a fake. You know, the ball was just loose and trying to hustle forward, and let's see the spot.
Yeah, I think the holder just bobbled the snap, and then, of course, once the timing's off, you got to yell, fire, fire, fire. Let's take a look at it here. See, he just bobbles the snap there. He didn't cleanly catch it, and he yells fire to the offense to tell the receivers to go out. Nobody open. He just does the best he can to get upfield and try to see if he can pick up the first down.
Yeah, they're going to have to check on the measure here.
Looks like a fair enough spot. Let's see if it's enough.
There's a hush come over the crowd.
He's a little short.
Way short.
Oof. About a half a football.
With emphasis out of our ref to say going the other way. He knows he's got a hot one going here as well, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah, you know that when you've got a bunch of Saraland folks spilled over onto the Spanish Fort side. This is a game with high intensity every inch of the stadium.
And the Toros come away without any points there.
That's a chance for a big defensive stand. One more time for the Toros. Let's see if Saraland can muscle it out of there.
Weaver from his own 8 sprints to the right side, stood up there, and nothing doing as John Stockton had a hold of him.
Well, he definitely tried to muscle it, but it was a couple of Spartans out-muscling, Dan.
Yeah, there's a lot of muscle in that Spanish Fort defense, too, including the guy right over the football. Stockton weighs 292 pounds.
Another junior. Gain of 1 for Weaver. Gives it off to Long. Long breaks through. He's going to be up near a first down for the Spartans.
Yeah, good vision by him to just come one way and then recognize the holes over here to my right. So let me get through there. See if I can kick the sticks for a first down, and he does.
So unusual to find a hole, period.
Yep. Delivered a hit on Goodwin at the end of that play. Gives him a little breathing room out to the 19.
Yeah, finally we see a conventional I play. Just a simple lead with the fullback. Gives the back an opportunity to find a hole somewhere.
Pitch, they'll come back to the near side with Long. He's across the 20 to about the 22.
Second time we've seen a toss pitch. And it wasn't successful the last time. It's not successful this time.
Lost yards last time, at least a few positive yards this time. And again, the clock is rolling too. And Jeff Kelly and Saraland very aware of that. You can never be too early to be thinking about drives that are just taking away clock time for the Spanish Fort offense.
2nd and 8. Weaver fires far side. Bellis Jones has it, and he has a first down.
And he stays inbounds.
You know, those two got a little bit of a relationship, I can tell.
Yeah, they should.
They have worked together.
Yep. Jones closing in on 1,000 yards receiving for the year.
You know, I'd like to see those quarterbacks do those half rolls. Just get out there just a little bit, set your feet, then deliver the footballs. A lot of times these quarterbacks just continue to meander out there, push themselves in more peril. Then their mechanics is totally off, the pass is off, and it's a bad play.
And they may have stopped the clock there. Maybe they whistled them out of bounds.
I think just for the first down.
Just moving it? Okay.
Got the chain set.
All right. Well, it's not starting yet.
No. Weaver gets a couple. And Jeff Kelly can't understand why there was no flag not thrown at the end of that. He said, hey, look, you've got my guys a couple of times at the end of plays here. And nothing at the end of this play.
Yeah, players imploring for a flag as well. But I think no harm, no foul. Let's just go ahead. We're just playing football. He actually just trips over his own feet.
Got some help.
Picked up 2. 2nd and 8. Jeff Kelly, of course, the star at Citronelle High School. And then went off to Southern Miss, and now Weaver just heaves this one up in the air, and it's caught inside the 40 to 35-yard line. Bellis Jones. I think Tony Mitchell just got a little turned around on this one.
Yeah, we were getting up gingerly there, but as they did stick him in the chest, he last minute saw his receiver downfield. Wasn't able to get enough on it to catch him in stride because he was behind the defense. But the receiver did a good job coming back and catching it.
Bellis Jones all the way to the 35.
Talented wideout.
Yeah, we got to keep our eye on Weaver. I think he is not totally comfortable after that last leg.
That's where the toughness comes in, and he's got that.
This drive started at the 8. They give on the far side. Sean Long. They get 3.
They lead. Clock's rolling. And they're pushing it down the field.
Side 8 minutes to go. Yeah, we haven't seen Nick Williams at all, so must have gotten injured in that first half. That's usually the kind of the 1-2 combination they have. Long.
Well, maybe like Shable, Jimmy was a little hurt coming in.
Yep.
I mean, this is a long road to this point.
You're right. 2nd and 7 from the 32. Grumbolo goes in motion. They fake to him. And now looking wide open on the far side. Picked off. Dunn cannot hold on to it. Wow, Jake Goodwin could not hold on to it.
Well, Weaver tried to fit it again in that cover 2 up under the safety behind the corner, but he just, I think he just was off there. It was just off.
He puts
receiver was running down fast, and it just couldn't get fitted in.
I mean, he's got it where he wants it to go. It's just that the Goodwin's there. That deep corner or that deep safety should be able to make a play on that. He does.
Yeah, but the receiver should have throttled down a little bit, knowing where that safety was to help out Weaver.
I got you.
3rd and 7 at the 32-yard line. Weaver looking, trying to set up a screen. Out of the backfield, it's Sims, and Sims is going to be short of the first down at the 29-yard line.
For Johnston, Thomas Johnston gets off a block, and on a play that looked like it had a chance.
In space, one-on-one.
Yeah, he gives it no chance, man. He just gets to the ball carrier in a New York second and makes a big player. That would have been a first down.
So kind of here in no man's land at the 29-yard line.
Well, Jeff Kelly, you know, we've seen what his attitude is about. He's here. He's in it to win it for sure.
You got to go for it here.
A timeout called for by Jeff Kelly. So 6.5 to go in 4th and 4.
And it looks like they want to talk it over and make sure they get the right call exactly executed the way they've done it in practice.
Don't be surprised if we don't see a call we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, he's done that earlier down there with that little pirouette with the quarterback.
I mean, you know, Mark Freeman has watched every one of their snaps this year. It may be something that no one has seen.
Yep, exactly.
Yet.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something we haven't seen tonight.
Advanced Collision has teamed up with the Crichton Optimist Club's annual Football Player of the Year Awards Banquet. The banquet will be held on Thursday, December 18th at Heron Lakes. All previous players of the week from this year will be there along with our Scholastic Athletes of the Week. They're going to give out a Sportsmanship Award and that trophy as well as we get to 4th and 4. Weaver now comes up.
17 on the play clock, so he's got plenty of time.
Sims in the backfield. Gatewood at fullback. Weaver pitches it to Sims. Sims forward. Let's look at the spot. This is going to be very close on the spot. I think he's short.
He is short. He's short a yard.
Yep.
Tyler Johnston. Thomas Johnston, the one staying home.
Toros come up with a big stop.
Disrupted it immediately.
And again, this is a play we have not seen tonight.
We have not. It was a great quick pitch, but Thomas Johnston right there to disrupt it. disallowing Tyler Sims to get the forward progress he needs to get the first down.
And Brady Hall with the stop.
Yep.
Big play by Johnston and Hall.
Yeah, if Johnston had not redirected him.
Where he couldn't even get a head of steam going.
Correct. Yeah, Tyler Sims may have had an opportunity to make that play.
And now the Toros come back with it. Javon Brown up the middle of the field. And Brown to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, he's not a big guy. This is a very physical defense. When he decides he's going to run, he better secure the football, Vic.
Yeah, it did look kind of haphazardly out there, didn't it, for a second?
Nice gain on first down, though, Jim.
Yep, picks up 6 as we're halfway through quarter number 4. Harrison, nothing there. Noah Anderson coming in to make the stop. Anderson, a senior. 14 tackles for loss coming into tonight's game. 3rd and 2 here for the Toros. Here's Anderson. Harrison in the backfield. Now they'll shift. And they snap it, not ready for it. The ball's loose, recovered by Saraland. Wow, Brown was trying to shift Harrison, and the snap came, and Brown wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, you know, this pistol offense and checking with the coach at the last minute making plays, some reason, you know, those guys in orange-blue had this same problem against A&M last week, where these centers are just snapping the football because something's not communicated to them, or they're assuming it's time, or what?
Ty Rowland fell on the loose football. First turnover tonight for Spanish Fort.
And speaking of communication, the Saraland band plays on, and they play every offensive snap for Spanish Fort. Did it have an effect? It didn't help things.
Weaver gives it off to Long, and Long to the 30. And that's it as we approach 5 minutes to go.
We'll see if this was a totally untimely turnover for Spanish Fort. You know, they've only given it up 1 time, right?
Yep.
Saraland has given it up 3 times, even though it hadn't come to bite them just yet.
Play clock inside 10. Weaver trying to hurry. Now down to 3. He's going to have to take a timeout. And they'll have 1 left. And we'll take it with him here. Jeff Kelly and his crew. 4 minutes and 41 seconds away from going to play for a state championship. A lot of football left to play here on the hill yet. Brennan, Vic Lockett, Ashley Pope on the sideline, Jared Kihas.
We've got a nice one here, guys.
Yeah, you know what this is amazing to me is a community, a school, brand new, so excited about this team that emerges out of nowhere so quickly. Who does that remind you of?
Oh, yeah.
Spanish Fort.
Yep.
Except we're talking about Saraland a few years later doing the same thing.
Trying to get to where the Toros have been 3 times already. 2nd and 7. Long goes in motion. They fake it to him. Weaver right up the middle, and he's got a big gain and a first down.
Yeah, Weaver just sliced it through there after faking that jet sweep. May have pulled a few of the defenders out wide, and that's what it's designed to do. You make you think it's going wide, but then that quarterback hits it right up in the middle. I bet that has been a scoring play for them through the season on a lot of teams, but just not so against this Spanish Fort defense. Well coached. Even if you get to their second level, normally there is somebody there going to make a tackle.
First down, Long slips one in the backfield, and now Long inside the 10.
Penetration looked like they were going to have him back there, but a missed tackle that maybe would not have been missed earlier in the night that may have been Stockton right off the nose.
Like D. Thomas had a shot at him as well, and gain of 9. And now Saraland, they can almost smell Auburn right now.
I smell it all the time.
Not necessary, Vic.
Ball up in the air. Weaver able to get it. He's going to be hit, still on his feet, and dropped back at the 15-yard line.
Not so fast, Jim.
Maurice Cole there, so a snap again. That one just through his hands, but a great athletic play by Weaver.
Yeah, just to collect it, right?
Yep. Hand-eye coordination. Awful good. Now we're approaching 3 minutes to go, and this is 3rd and 8.
Big play right there.
Yeah, this is going to take a game under 3 minutes, though.
Saraland in no hurry. Play clock now at 5, and they empty the backfield. Quarterback draw maybe with Weaver here. Instead, no, looking to throw it. Fires far side. He's got Bellis Jones complete. Now the officials looking at the Spanish Fort players said they came up with it, but Jones was down on the play.
I think that's a first down.
Yeah, Thomas Johnson out there to make the tackle. Referee taking a look at it now. He decides he's going to measure it.
What a game by that guy, Jones.
Yeah, Jones has had a great year, was quiet the first 3 catches for 61 yards in that first matchup.
They've targeted him a lot tonight, and you can see why. He's a really fluid talent.
Yeah, he is. And like I said, he's got a great relationship with his quarterback. You can tell those guys have spent a little time after practice working.
10 catches for 146 yards tonight for Bellis Jones.
It is a first down.
Here's how you practice catching a pass from Chris Weaver. First thing you know, it's coming in hot.
2:39 left. Spanish Fort with all of their timeouts. So now you're thinking we've got to hold them to a field goal if you're Spanish Fort. And if you're Saraland, you're saying, hey, this is a chance to salt away our trip to play for the state championship.
Spanish Fort undefeated in the playoffs at home.
And they've won 13 in a row in the playoffs.
Wow.
Tyler Sims in. Weaver will keep it. He slips, but he's still on his feet. And then he'll be brought down for a loss back to the 9-yard line.
How quickly you start calling timeouts if you're Spanish Fort.
Brady now with the stop. And the Toros did just that.
Okay.
Yeah, you just can't afford to let precious seconds get off the clock, and you know they're probably going to run the football from here on out. I don't know, but I tell you what, they got a quarterback for a coach. He may want to put it in the air. I would not recommend it, but Jeff Kelly has proven that he will gamble.
Well, even if you don't score here and you're Saraland, you are going to leave Spanish Fort 4 points down and a football field to go.
Yeah, no field goal would win the football game.
And no time and no timeouts.
Right.
Theoretically, that's where we could be heading if Saraland doesn't get it in.
Hey, while we have just a second here, this is our last broadcast of the season, and just can't thank our tremendous crew enough, led by Jared Kihas, what they do, everyone who is here early and stays late to make sure our games look wonderful on television each and every Friday nights. We've been here for the last 15 nights, 15 Fridays with you. So hats off to the great job they do.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to work with such a talented group, dedicated group, regardless of the weather, though we've had clear skies most of the year.
And most times the press box is comfortable and climate controlled most nights.
Can't argue with that.
Second and goal from the 10. Long in motion. Weaver going to keep it. Big hole on the left side. Weaver, when they drop a flag.
What could he have seen over there outside the hole?
That's what he saw, and I think they're gonna call it right here. And I guess the call right there is on Jones. It didn't look egregious, but he was a lot closer than us.
I didn't see it at all there. But I wasn't looking either. I was looking at the back. I will admit that.
It looked like a block that led to a touchdown, but the call comes in, flag goes down, and...
Boy, and Weaver had such a huge hole.
Yeah, it was kind of a counter play, Jim. All the motion going right, and then Weaver just took off.
Offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Since the play ended in the end zone, the clock will not start until the snap.
Well, I thought it was 2:14 when they took the timeout, Jim.
No, it was 2:19.
Okay.
2:19 on the clock. So, wow. So the double whammy, if you will, all the way back to the 19, second and goal from the 19, and now you might have to think about possibly putting the ball in the air.
There's no doubt about it. You got to do it.
You have the lead.
I don't think you do it here. When you've got the lead and you got everything in your favor except for down and distance.
And Weaver rolling out, looking to throw, fires on the far side.
He put it where only his receiver could catch it, so they're back in business, knocking on the door.
Back at the 10, and it's going to bring up third and goal. Maybe down to the 9.
Much more manageable. Good pass by Weaver. I like the way he just rolls out. Okay, stop, and just deliver the football.
That's a great pass, but I just think the percentage of completion on that
is low.
Yeah,
it's low.
And that would have stopped the clock on its own. Spanish Fort's got to take a timeout, I think, to stop it.
He went out of bounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went out of bounds, so Spanish Fort still has their 2. He was very close over on that far sideline. Third and goal from the 8. Weaver looking, fires incomplete.
Yeah, he had a guy on that half roll, and he kind of looks back at him and says, "Why didn't you throw it to me?" Nobody covered him, within 10 yards.
And Spanish Fort only had to use 1 timeout there.
Yeah. Kanye Bumbello. Rumbelow, thank you, Jim.
Yep. And so now,
not a Phi Beta Kappa.
Cody Everett will come on and try a 25-yard field goal attempt.
Watch the fake.
And the kick is no good.
They got a chance. They got a heartbeat. They got 2 timeouts.
Got 2 timeouts.
2 minutes left.
Just pushed it wide. And the ball will be spotted at the 15-yard line.
Well,
so here you go, defending 2-time state champions.
Yeah, and you're Mark Freeman, and you're a great offensive mind, so certainly you have a 2-minute offense.
No doubt.
He pointed out there's exactly 2 minutes on the clock.
Yes.
You know, you look back and you wonder, at the end of the first half, when he didn't take that short field goal attempt, you see that one was missed there, but you think about those 3 points, potentially. But here you go. Toros with 2 minutes. Devon Brown rolls out, looking for a block. He's going to be hit. Wow, huge hit. He's up to the 22-yard line, and the Toros will have to hurry up to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, among the hitters, Chris Weaver now in on defense, the quarterback. Watch, number 7, flash. Wow, how about that?
Putting your best 11 out there to close out the game. And
there is no tomorrow.
Yep, you're down to 1:35. Brown looks. Now he's going to pull it down in the middle of the field. Got to get the first down to stop the clock, and he will. And Javon Brown to the 35, so they'll stop it. Down to 1:26, 2 timeouts. And you can see Brown, he would rather pull it down in most instances, I think, Vic.
He does. He's not going to pass it unless it is definitely there.
Going to have to get a big chunk at some point. Rolls out. Fires this one. Ladero Petway with a catch. Petway up the sidelines. He's to midfield. That's another first down.
Yeah, he even double pumped that one when he could have ran ahead and released it on the first pump. Receiver was open. Got to get a touchdown. Field goal won't help.
They get the chain set. Logan Morgan, the sophomore, to the top of the screen. Now I think Saraland's going to take a timeout.
They're reeling a little bit.
To take their last timeout here at midfield. What a game.
Yeah, and you know what? We may have not seen the play that's going to define this game yet.
You're right.
Jeff Kelly trying to keep a cool head, gets the defense over to talk to their DC and make sure everybody's got it. Everybody's on the same page.
If nothing else, give that guy a break.
Yeah, how about that?
I mean, he jumps from offense to defense in a heartbeat.
Makes plays.
Yeah, and then they're running the 2-minute offense. It is not easy coming off the bench and defending a 2-minute offense, let alone jumping from offense to defense and doing that.
Running the show on offense.
Yeah, no doubt.
Saraland jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Then Spanish Fort scored 10 unanswered to make it 10-7. And the only score here in the second half for Saraland gave them the lead back at 14-10.
They've got the advantage of knowing that Spanish Fort has got to get in the end zone.
Well, I think they snapped it before the ref was ready to get it all set.
Has that happened here before?
They're not going to penalize him for it.
Yes, it has. Team referring to the onside kick the last time these two teams met.
Brown, blitz coming, now rolls out to the near side, fires, intercepted, picked off to the near side. Javon Brown fired it and intercepted by Marcus Reed. And now there's a late flag. It's going to be after the change of possession, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a little John at the sideline. Skylar Mosley, a little excited.
And Javon's been very, very careful throughout the whole football game, and when it really counts, this time just straight to the defender.
He was trying to go to Petway, threw it way behind him.
He never saw Reed, too. I don't think he saw him, and it looks like it's the end of an era.
Well, let's see what the Zebras say, because they're having a long conference about it.
It was definitely after the change of possession.
You would think.
This crew has conferences that should include a lunch.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Saraland. 15 yards, first and 10.
So the Saraland fans so giddy right now, they were cheering the 15-yard penalty against them. Like, yeah, that was us.
Well, looks like we're witnessing a changing of the guard here.
Two turnovers on the last two drives for the Toros.
And two also the number of timeouts that Spanish Fort still possesses, but they're going to be gone here real quick. Victory formation.
Sure, yeah, that's just done. You know, Saraland had the 3 turnovers, and they lived to see another day, even though they outnumber Spanish Fort in terms of turnovers.
These teams so much alike in so many ways. One has a senior quarterback.
Yep.
The other has a junior quarterback that was pressed into service midway through the season.
Sure.
And the point where these turnovers happen is the difference, too. You guys were pointed out earlier, the turnovers that were happening for Saraland were on 4th and 3rd downs, so they were essentially punts.
And they were deep in the Saraland territory as well. That crowd is so loud on the far side right now.
And our side.
Yeah, because they're spilled over here, as Dan pointed out earlier. You know, I think both teams have cowbells. I'm serious. I mean, I'm hearing them for Saraland and I'm hearing them for Spanish Fort. I thought we'd just leave them in Starkville.
No, they caught on.
So they'll take another timeout here.
That's what happens when Mississippi State comes out of nowhere and actually has a good season.
Well, now here in the Spanish Fort, they ought to call them fish callers rather than cowbells.
Weaver comes under center, and the Toros will take their last timeout here.
Now it is literally a matter of time.
So they will...
in seconds.
So the 3rd down here. Yeah, because there's 54 seconds left, so they can take the full...
Well, Spanish Fort, you know, they'll get their star quarterback back. I understand from his mother, he's doing well through his rehab. Saraland will be graduating their quarterback. So,
you know, Saraland graduated 17 starters from that team last year that lost in the semis.
They reloaded
and replaced them this year.
That's a lot.
They reloaded in a very beautiful way, didn't they?
Yep, they have put together a great season.
And that little city is going to represent us from the South Alabama area in the championship game.
Would you bet against them?
I did not. I knew it was going to be a battle just like it's turning out to be.
Heard a lot of great things about Clay Chalkville.
Yep. So there's the last one, and 4th down coming up. Here now, we'll see when they get the clock reset and ready to start the play clock, and they have. And Saraland's out of timeout, so they'll just probably let it go and take the penalty, and then they're going to have to punt or something. On 4th down.
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to punt to Javon Brown back there. These guys, they've got to return it. There's a flag been dropped.
Some confusion here because Saraland was out of timeouts, and there was more time on the game clock than the play clock. If he called a timeout. So it was encroachment against the Toros. So what that's going to do?
Give them an opportunity to really run the clock down.
Now they can run the clock out. But they were confused there because they were going to just let the clock run out, and Spanish Fort was going to get the football back.
Right.
I think they thought they maybe had a timeout.
That could be. Scoreboard told the story, though.
No defense. Okay, well, I tell you, Dan, this conference, not only do they need lunch, they're going to need per diem for dinner.
Yeah,
too many sidebars. But I like it when they're going to get it correct. It's very simple. They called off sides, reset the ball 5 yards ahead, and let's go. Replay 4th down.
Yeah, they shouldn't even have to get near the football. Now they should start the clock, and that should do it.
And there you go.
And the Saraland crew erupts across the field. Coach Kelly, proud of his group. Brought this little school and the little city a long, long way.
Congratulations, short time. Yeah, just like Spanish Fort.
Saraland improves to 13-1 on the year, but more importantly, they get to play one more game. The Spartans.
There is a tomorrow for Saraland.
Spanish Fort ends up the year at 12-2, and Jeff Kelly has taken his team to the state championship game, and he's with Ashley.
Great job. Thank you.
Coach Kelly, congratulations. Was this redemption plus a little bit more?
No, it wasn't anything like that. This game was a separate game. We've been talking to our kids all year long. They really believe, in what we're doing. They played their hearts out. Got to tip your hat here to our kids for the way they competed. Spanish Fort is a great team. They've been a great team for the last several years. And, this is 3 weeks in a row. Our kids have went on the road in the playoffs and won big football games. They're battle-tested. That they understand what it takes to win these kind of games. But, I hope we got one more in us.
Right. How do you prepare for this week?
We ain't even thought about that. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to enjoy, coming over here and celebrating the win against a great team. We got plenty of time to worry about that. Proud of our kids. Can't be more proud of our kids, our coaches. Look around. Our fans. Wow. I mean, they're here. They're on our side. They're on their side.
Yeah.
I don't know what more you can ask for to see the city of Saraland come over here and support their kids like that. I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Good. Congratulations. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
What a great win for that young program. And there's Tyler Johnston.
If only him.
Yep. Yeah.
You don't know.
But, injuries are a part of the game.
Yep.
It really is. And so you just wonder, once, Spanish Fort brings an awful lot back next year. But this is all about Saraland right now. And the great win for them. They come back. First time they've beaten this Spanish Fort team. They were 0-2 coming in. And what a great win for that program.
Yeah, and let it be about both of them for just a second. Spanish Fort, undefeated at home in the playoffs until tonight.
Right.
I mean, what a run they've had. Fantastic run. But now we turn the page, and Saraland's the one that turned the page. a very physical football team, well coached and tough enough mentally to win a game on the Hill.
It just came down to the mistakes and when you made the mistakes.
Yes.
And, yeah, like you said, proud of Spanish Fort. You know, they've had a great run, but, yeah, the page has been turned, the torch has been passed, and we'll just have to see what Saraland does with it.
Yeah, we'll have a new champion as Spanish Fort, winners of 2 in a row. And I want to thank just everybody. You see all the names there, everybody back at the station that helps us every week to get ready for those games, all of our crew, especially Jared Kihas, who really heads up this high school football game of the week. Thank you to all of our great photographers, our statisticians, Jonathan, Brian Anderson here tonight. Thank you. Our timeout coordinators known as the Red Hat. I mean, we've just had so many here. Bobby Toach, Chris Delaporte, Kristen Mosley back at the station, all doing such a great job. Everybody back in master control, Tim and the whole crew in engineering. Thank you to everyone. Another season in the books, and we'll be back here in the fall, right? It'll still be summer, actually, when we're back here in August.
We're going to miss the viewers.
We are.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Thank you, viewers, for watching us.
A great season wraps up with a great game, probably the game of the year that we had here on UTV 44.
Yeah, considering everything we had on the line, as good a game and atmosphere as we've had all year.
So for Jared Kihas in the truck, Ashley Pope on the sidelines, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett in the booth, I'm Jim Cox saying good night from the Hill, where Saraland is going to play for the championship next week up in Auburn.